Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to those of you being with us here today in the conference room in Krakow, as well as those of you watching us online, because our entire event will be broadcasted today. I'm very happy to host you here during the Solaris Talks conference and during the world premiere of our brand new product, Solaris Urbino 18 Hydrogen. I'm very happy that we have again opportunity to meet with you and to share with you our knowledge and experience about e-mobility and hydrogen technologies. I think that one of the main human needs is mobility. In a modern city, public transportation should be quiet, clean, and safe. Electric mobility is an ideal solution for urban traffic. Battery vehicles do not emit any emissions, provide driving comfort, and due to the low noise level, increase the quality of the living in the cities. At Solaris, we strongly believe that e-mobility may respond to the challenges posed by intensifying urbanization. Clean, quiet, and safe public transport significantly contributes to the healthier and more habitable city. It also translates into the lower emissions of harmful substances and, as a consequence, reduce risks for the future generations and for the environment. The real highlight of our today event is going to be official launching of Solaris Urbino 18 hydrogen bus. This moment is scheduled in our event at 12 o'clock. But before we get to that point in our agenda, we'll present you the series of presentations during our Solaris Talks event. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite on the stage the CEO of Solaris Bus & Coach, Mr. Javier Calleja. Javier, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mateus. Good morning, everyone. It is a real pleasure to see you, all of you today here, and also to all the people that we have connected to this event. We are super excited about this event, and hopefully we have a fantastic day, all of us together. This day is for you. All our teams, from sales, technical teams, after sales, we are all here to talk to you, to explain to you our work, and hopefully you can take the best out of this day. This is our intention. I'm sure we are going to enjoy together this time. We begin the day today with Solaris Talks 2022. This is the third edition of this type of conference. We will have experts from our company from different areas explaining and sharing our views on the latest trends in modern and sustainable urban transport. In addition, we can talk from Solaris, but we always say that we are a customer-oriented company. We want to work together with you, with the customers. And we will have the pleasure and the privilege of hosting Mrs. Alisa Meyer from RBK Cologne. She will share their experience with hydrogen. She will share the experience about how to put these buses in operation and what are the plans that they have for the future with this technology. This is a great pleasure for us, having the voice of the customer integrated with the voice of our teams. We work together and we basically foster the development of the industry together. We cannot do it alone, and that's what we firmly believe, and that's why she will be here with us today. But there is no better scenario than in a mobility conference to present a new vehicle. So that's the perfect match today. And we will have the pleasure, as Mateus was saying, to present the new addition to our large portfolio of zero-emission vehicles, the Solaris Urbino 18 Hydrogen. We have been working on this for a long time, a huge investment, but we are very proud to present a fantastic vehicle, and we hope that this is going to help all our cities across Europe. You probably have seen that in the video, and that will be, you will have the opportunity to see that in person. Again, we are very proud to have this vehicle today, and hopefully you like as much as we do. But let's stop here for a minute. Why we are here today? why do we want to talk about clean transport? We are all affected by the severe consequences of the climate crisis. Temperatures in the countries and the cities are rising and are increasing every year. And our cities in Europe are suffering more and more congestion issues. So we believe it's not only the perfect timing, it's a must to talk and devote our time to talk about clean transport, changes in the public transport, because it's a must have for the future of our cities. We need to focus on changes in the way we do things. We need to really change patterns and change behaviors. We need to end the era of fossil fuels. And transport is a critical sector for that. Globally, transport really is responsible for 14% of the CO2 emissions. But that figure is 23% when you talk about Europe. So we have a responsibility as an industry to take our part or the transformation in terms of going to a cleaner environment. We cannot hide. And we will see today that the progress is huge, technology is here, and things are already happening. But also we need to recognize that somehow transport industry was not the leading industry reducing CO2 emissions. We have been behind other industries for years, but it's true that as an industry, we are catching up very, very fast. It's our responsibility, our joint responsibility, PTAs, PTOs, suppliers, and OEMs. We all need to be together, working together in that direction, because there is no other direction. We need to change. A few months ago, the EU environment ministers, they really agreed on rules to reduce the road transport impact on climate change. They say that by 2035, the CO2 emissions for all new passenger cars and vans sold in Europe, they will have to be zero. It's a very ambitious, but it's the right direction for Europe. In the case of buses, the regulations are specified in the Clean Vehicle Directive, according to which, by 2030, the zero emissions needs to be up to 50% of the entire European fleet. It's a challenging target. It looks crazy if you go back only some years in time, but we are clearly progressing quite well. And we believe that together as an industry, we are becoming ready to reach these targets. This will be a huge step forward in the fight for better air quality in our cities. And I'm totally convinced, we are totally convinced, that this industry can deliver what the cities are waiting for, what our passengers are waiting for, what our citizens are waiting for, and what they deserve. Let me tell you that, I assume that for this moment you already know, but let me tell you that we are very positive about these changes. We believe that this can happen. Until a few years ago, a world powered by renewable energies without fossil fuels seems like a crazy idea, seems really way off. But today, this is becoming more and more a reality, something that we can achieve. We need to develop and invest in wind and solar energy, in heat pumps, in thermal insulation of buildings, and last but not least, of course, in the development of public transport. Again, it's a key pillar to achieve the targets that we want and should achieve. And there's still a lot of things to do. There's still a lot of work that is in front of us. But I think it's also good to recognize the progress, because it's the only way to really to address the future, is really to see where you are, stop, think, and see that the progress is, I would say, good. It's strong, and it's really giving us a good platform to go forward. So if we read the last IPCC report, the production and storage of energy from renewable sources is progressing even faster than in previous forecasts. It's true that recently we have a lot of turbulence and things are changing, but the reality is we, as a in the world, but also in Europe, we were basically doing the right progress in this direction. The average cost of solar and wind energies are currently lower than the generation from gas and coal. And what is more, the usage of these technologies are growing. Solar energy has increased more than tenfold in the last years. And the reality is this is critical. In every new technology, and this applies also to buses, we need to go through the experience curve. Early stages are always more expensive and more uncertain, but as long as the industry accumulates experience, as an industry, and of course as individual companies, we will go down the cost and we will have better and better products. And this is happening in energy generation. So more and more, we have more tools and more ways to face the challenges and address them and be successful in these challenges, fighting the challenges. So we have real opportunities to hand in order to limit the global warming. It's not just a wishful thinking. We have the tools, we need to use them, and we need to be bold. And we will improve the quality of the life in our cities, and we will guarantee sustainable development for future generations, which I think at Solaris we take that as a key responsibility. But this is not only about energy part or other industries. Change is also happening, and very fast, in our industry. If we go back to 2012, it's almost yesterday, so we are not talking about very far away, the majority of the routes in European cities were covered by conventional buses, and only 15 new electric buses were registered in that year. Just 9 years later, it looks like we have been with this forever, but it's not. Only in 9 years, in 2021, 3,282 buses were registered in Europe. 15, more than 3,000, 9 years. I think this will be, as an industry, extremely proud about this achievement. I will do the SOAR marketing part. More than 1 in 10 of these buses were Solaris buses in Europe. We are, and we have been, a critical player in this transition. And we aspire to continue being that. Of course, with the working relationship with all of you, all the customers, which we feel extremely proud to serve and to help in this challenging transition, because it's a challenging. I think the number of registered buses last year was close to 25% of total registered buses. Again, something that was not perceived as something achievable only some years ago, we are doing. And the question is, can we do more? Can we do faster? We believe yes. We believe we can do better and better and better, and we can really progress. So, again, I want to highlight that as Solaris we have been doing this, and not only in the last year, not only in the last 9 years, we started this trend and this work many years ago. We have been working with battery buses, trolley buses, hydrogen buses, and all of them are part of our contribution to the decarbonization of Europe. And we have a clear focus about really continuing this path and accelerating this path, even in a faster pace than the industry. We were saying about this 25%. In our case, the percentage of zero-emission buses is higher than the industry, and I think this gap will be higher and higher. We are betting and putting all our efforts in this transition. We want to be a key player in the transition. We are a key player in the transition, and we think this is our contribution to this industry. We are retraining our employees, because you need people with different skills. So we are investing a lot of money and time really retraining our employees, for sure in the technical teams, but also in the production teams and even in marketing teams, where we need to have different explanations. So the reality is we are adjusting our company to this new reality. We are also sharing all our experience. We believe this is not only about ourselves and individual relationships. Somebody said recently that the modern companies, they have aspirations that they cannot achieve alone. you need to really, if you want to be a real modern company, you need to be a contributor to a big transformation that is beyond your company. That's what we are doing. We want to take our part of the responsibility, but we want to help the industry to be better and to transform. So we are working with all of you. We are trying to really to help operators in this transition, which is a very difficult transition for all of us. So it's not easy for anybody, but I think we are doing a good job. And then we have hydrogen. Hydrogen is still smaller in volume than battery buses, but we believe it is starting to play and will play a critical role in this transition. We have bet on hydrogen many years ago, and as many of you know, because we have been discussing this with all of you probably, we see this as a complementary technology to battery buses. But it's here, it's a reality, it's happening today, and it will accelerate in the coming years. Today we are seeing in Europe that the countries are building refueling stations, they are building the infrastructure to produce and to distribute the hydrogen across the different countries, the different usage. Still, number of projects is much larger than reality, but is this the way? This is clearly the way. And I have the feeling that Europe is seeing hydrogen as something that we need to really to leader globally. So the reality is Europe is taking hydrogen probably even more seriously and with more commitment, with higher commitment than many other geographies. I think it's a big opportunity also for the overall industry. So we are, as Solaris, of course, working on optimizing our vehicles, reducing the consumption, working with the partners to improve the fuel cells, to improve the hydrogen systems, to achieve the highest safety standards. And the Solaris Urbino 18 meters that we are presenting today, in fact, is the results of many months or even years of intensive work to have a fantastic vehicle that will deliver and will perform very, very well in your cities day by day. However, and we want to focus today on positive messages, but we also should recognize that surrounding these positive trends, we also face some challenges. And I'm not talking about technical challenges. Many OEMs in our industry are not making enough profits to cover the cost of capital. In fact, many of them, they are not even making profits. I don't think this is sustainable. You cannot have an industry that is getting subsidies from other business from the same group. We need to have healthy economics. The recent inflationary pressures has made this situation even worse. And again, this is not healthy and is not sustainable. As every industry that is thinking long-term and was a long-term progress, having the right economics and the overall sustainable model is critical. And we believe that we are all responsible. For sure, OEMs, because we start probably making our own mistakes, but also PTOs and PTAs. I think as an industry, we should change this situation if we want to continue the path that we are saying today. Otherwise, we have a risk of stopping the progress, stopping the transition, and we all be responsible. Ladies and gentlemen, without you, this would not have been possible. Altogether, we are changing the image of public transport. And you know that this is our motto. We want to change the image of public transport. We want to improve the image of public transport because public transport is and will be a key pillar of urban mobility. Whatever happens with other type of mobilities, public transport and buses should grow in terms of really presence in our cities. In a modern city, this will be a key pillar of the transformation of the city. And battery and hydrogen vehicles will be the core of the fleets. I also have in mind, and many of you are here, the members of the media who cover this sector. You have a responsibility. You are doing the right questions. You are looking for the right answers. You are writing about what is important. You are also fostering this transformation, and you are playing also a critical role. So you also feel part of this modernization of our cities, of our transport. You will hear today inspirational lectures by specialists from our company, and also, as was mentioned, by Mrs. Alisa Meyer, culminating with the premiere of our Urbino 18-meter hydrogen. Hopefully, you have the opportunity to gain information, to exchange ideas, and again, for us, this is not the end, but this is a landmark in our process after a lot of months and years of work. So thank you again for being with us today. Hopefully we all enjoy and have a fun and productive day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javier, for this interesting introduction to our Solaris Talks conference. Sorry for that. We've heard a lot about the challenges which our industry is facing, and in particular, which we as a bus manufacturer are facing today and in the coming years. How Solaris responds to these challenges, I believe we'll give you an answer in the next 3 presentations provided by our distinguished speakers, who are going to be Łukasz Hełchowski, Director of R&D Department in our company, Romuald Witkowski, the Project Management Leader in Solaris and Director, and Jakub Jóźwiak, Director of After Sales in our organization. So Łukasz, the floor is yours.
Mateusz, thank you very much for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with facts and figures. Solaris is European e-mobility leader. We are #1 in Europe in terms of sales of zero-emission buses. We have already contracted more than 2,000 battery buses for 116 cities in 20 countries. Probably you ask, how did we achieve that? From my perspective, what is obvious, by experience, knowledge, and competences, which we collected during multiple projects we did through many, many years of our development. But what is maybe not so obvious, we achieved that also thanks for flexibility. Flexibility is a part of Solaris DNA. We are flexible in offering, in production processes, in technological development, but also in our relationships with customers. Let me go deeper in this. What does it mean, flexibility, for Solaris? What means flexible offer? From our perspective, it's mainly tailor-made solutions. Solaris has the widest offer on the market. It's a fact. We have in our portfolio 6 lengths of the buses, which 3 of them was since the beginning developed only as zero-emission solution. The most popular of them, Urbino 12 and Urbino 18, are still available with 7 drives. Electric one, hydrogen, as a trolley bus, also hybrid version, mild hybrid, CNG, and diesel. You can say that it's a lot of configurations. It's not the end. There are multiple variants in that. For example, if we talk about battery buses, our customer can choose high power solutions or high energy. Once we go deeper, for example, in high energy batteries, we also have few solutions which we choose exactly according to the customer needs. If we talk about battery buses, our customers have as a standard plug-in charging, but they can also choose as an option the pantograph charging solution. And also here, Solaris are more than welcome in discussion with our customers, because we can offer the conventional one pantograph and the inverted one. Additionally to all of that, we are offering multiple equipment of options. For example, advanced driver assistance systems, HVAC systems, including heat pump, but also we can offer services like bus connectivity, including one-line system, which is passenger information system, but also ES Connect, our telematics system. All of those products could be configured for our customers in adapted way from the perspective of seat layouts. But that's only examples. We have a lot of different variants which you can discuss with our sales representatives. Solaris is very popular on the market with our non-standard solutions. We have in our portfolio intercity battery buses, which I mentioned, 15-meter low entry and 9-meter low entry. But we also have mobile bleed donation stations based on battery bus, as well 24-meter bi-articulated zero-emission bus. As I mentioned, we are flexible in different areas. We are also flexible in production process. What does it mean? The product mix has changed during the last years. Last year, we produced 41% alternative drives products. What we observe is the tendency and also market prognosis that in the future, our production will be 100% alternative drives focused. What does it mean exactly for Solaris? We are changing our area of production. We are building new competences. We are training our employees, but we build the knowledge as well. It's very challenging. Why it is so challenging? Because we produce all of those buses on a single production line. It means that different lengths of vehicles in different variants, with different powertrains, with all of those different configurations I mentioned, are produced in the same time. It needs from our managers managing the employees across all different duties of our employees in a very efficient way. Flexibility in technological development. What does it mean exactly for Solaris? It's very simple. For us, it's a permanent development. We are evaluating all the time. As you can see on the slide, we had a lot of milestones across the years up to now. We can say that mobility is also a part of Solaris DNA. Once we started with trolleybuses, with the first trolleybus in the year 2001, through the year 2011, once we introduced the first Solaris battery bus, through the year 2019 with hydrogen-powered bus premiere, until today, this day when we have the premiere of hydrogen-articulated bus. I would like to say that Solaris invests in clean technologies a lot of efforts and a lot of money. Why? Because we believe that with these activities, we can improve quality life in cities. That's why we permanently develop battery and e-drive technologies. That's why we just build charging park in our factory. Charging park dedicated for our battery buses. Charging park which has a capability of bidirectional energy transfer. It means that the energy which we put to the bus during the charging process, we want to also test our batteries, so we discharge the batteries, but we do not waste the energy. This energy can be used to charge the another bus, or in case we do not charging the next vehicle, this energy is consumed by our factory. What is also worth to mention, our charging park is partially charged by PV panels, which creates the roof of our charging park. We also invest in hydrogen technologies to increase the volume of our production in this particular type of vehicles. We are now under process to build the dedicated production line only for hydrogen buses. Last, but for sure not least, flexibility in customer approach. What does it mean for Solaris? We are aware that every city is different. It means that every customer, every operator have a special wishes which we want to fulfill. We are also aware that some of customers are really afraid of a mobility transformation. It's a very innovative technology, and it could be scary at the beginning. We know that. That's why we want to help in that. This is the reason why we offer full e-mobility support package, starting with feasibility study, which includes support of our experts. My people, together with customers, analyze the trips, distances, bus stops, and based on analysis, can offer and propose the best battery technology and charging infrastructure. Additionally, we developed ES Connect system to create easier managing that kind of innovative fleets. We also restructured our after-sales with a very important specialized e-mobility team who is able to support our customers really quickly, and thanks to the system of ES Connect, also remotely. We know that managing a fleet of electric buses is very challenging. That's why we have a holistic approach. For our customers, the product is not sufficient. Our customer wants to have a system. Systems means vehicles, but also charging infrastructure. This is the reason why Solaris offers full turnkey solutions. We are able to offer also charging infrastructure, but it doesn't mean for Solaris we are able to offer only chargers. We also offer chargers together with the building architecture, including the charging stations, pantograph charging stations in the cities. Last but not least, we are focused on data analysis because we are convinced that the values which we can take from this data analysis are the future. We are convinced that thanks for that, we can design and produce better products. And we can also develop our relationships with customers, knowing better their behaviors, knowing better their problems. This is also a part which is directly connected to our after-sales teams. And thanks for monitoring of performance of our buses, we are able to quickly react in case of any problems, in case of any doubts of our customers. Also, as I mentioned, thanks for the system of ES Connect remotely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. And I would like to invite on the stage Romuald Witkowski. Romek, the stage is yours.
Hello, welcome to all of you. Today we are going to continue subject of e-mobility, and we will find the proof that future is smart and electric. First part will be about sustainable urban living. You may ask, why is it so important to have sustainable urban living? First of all, more than 50% of European population lives in urban areas. Only half of this population has access to public transportation. And what is worse, 99% of the population breathe polluted air every day. Thinking about this, let's focus on this sentence. Transport is not an end in itself, but rather a means allowing people to access what they need. Jobs, markets, and goods social interaction, education, and full range of other services, contributing to healthy and fulfilled lives. Well said. One of the basic human needs is the need of moving around. In a modern city, communication should be clean, safe, and affordable. It should ensure that every resident can reclaim the city for themselves. It should also take into account that needs of everyone are fulfilled. And we are talking here also about disabled people, elderly, and the children with the young and the families with the young children. To achieve it, the immobility is the only way. In general, cities generate 75% of CO2 emissions worldwide. 25% of those CO2 emissions is generated by transport. Therefore, well-planned and green urban transit is a critical component of the worldwide effort to stem the climate change. But how to move cities toward a cleaner future? It's all about setting the right goals. New York City, 2015, 193 countries approves Sustainable Development Goals. Among 10 targets connected to sustainable cities, there are ones focusing on providing access to sustainable transport for all, reducing adverse per capita environmental impact of the city. On the other hand, in 2021, EU sets the Green Deal, which is kind of a roadmap for the EU to become climate neutral by 2050. There is also an interim goal of 55% emission reduction by 2030. So, we talk about needs, we talk about goals, but what about the strategies? By 2030, all medium-sized and large cities will put in place their sustainable plans. All large 100 cities will become climate neutral by this time. And every commute traveling below 500 kilometers should be zero emission by that time. By 2050, though, Trans-European transport network will be converted into sustainable and smart, with high-speed connectivity, where most of the passenger cars, vans, and heavy-duty vehicles will be zero emission. Okay, now let's see how public transport is going green. Counting from 2014, the market grew by 33 times. Right now, it's more than 3,000 electric vehicles, electric buses sold each year. We also observe a growing trend of bus deployment each year, which is definitely a positive sign. On the graph behind me, you also see that it's the bus market who makes this happen. Nearly 44% of market share in newly registered buses is electric vehicles. It's undoubtedly something which is worth to notice. What is more, the worldwide total bus fleet is more than 700,000 vehicles. When it comes to passenger cars, those stands for 9% of the shares, and vans and trucks are ramping up with 1% of the shares for now. Solaris' experience in a field of e-mobility. To 160 cities and 20 countries, we delivered more than 2,500 electric vehicles. 1,400 of them is already delivered, and the remaining are going to be deployed soon. Thinking about the largest fleets, we need to mention about Milan, with 195 buses deployed. Then capitals like Berlin, Warsaw, with more than 100 buses rolling on roads. Then Brussels with 30 of them. And some Polish cities like Krakow with 76 buses. And Jaworzno with 46 of them, where almost 80% of the fleet is already zero emission. Soon we will deploy also electric buses to other capitals in Europe, which is Oslo and Madrid. Now let's move to the topic of how fast cities and operators are changing the fleets to make them zero emission. First one, Milan, Italy. 165 electric buses combined with 30 trolley buses. Soon we are going to deploy 75 battery buses and another 50 trolley buses. The total network of Milan is 100 lines, where 4 of them is trolleybus lines, and total length of the lines is almost 900 kilometers. Secondly, Poznań. City of Poznań plans to, by 2035, obviously, they plan to integrate and plan to develop sustainable bus grid where they plan to implement 58 hydrogen buses, which will be complementary solution to existing fleet of battery buses, which operates in a high charging modes based on our high power batteries. Next, Austria and Carinthia region. In city of Villach and in its beautiful surroundings, 5 hydrogen 12-meter Solaris Urbino buses will operate 350 kilometers a day on a single refill. What is worth to mention is that this project is developed together with municipality and energy company, which makes sure that sufficient amount of hydrogen will be delivered. Based on framework agreement, we will deliver up to 40 buses next year. Now we jump to north. Long nights in the winter and long days in the summer. But soon also buses in Oslo are going to be long. This time, additionally to our 18-meter buses, we will deliver extended version of this vehicle. Extra 75 centimeters will make even higher capacity. What is also exciting, this option delivers also 42 B-articulated 24-meter buses, where we're looking forward to receive this order. And back to Italy, where Bolzano operates 12 Urbino 12 hydrogen vehicles delivered in 2021. It is well-known competition with 70 kilowatt fuel cell and 30 kilowatt hours high power battery, which fits perfectly to the mode of operation. City has also plans to convert class 2 suburban lines into hydrogen operation, while 350 kilometers range will be undoubtedly added value. Thank you for your attention. That was all. Now I would like to invite Jakub Józwiak on stage.
Thank you very much, Romek, for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, much has been said about new technologies, flexibility, and tailor-made projects. Also, much has been said about the support offered to customers. And then what? New technologies in public transportation is like rally race. My name is Jakub Jóźwiak, and I manage the after-sales team. My team takes over the baton when the technology already is selected, bus is produced and delivered to the customers. And then for the 10 or 15 years, we are making this run together. Until end of operation, end of the bus life, we are offering end-to-end support to make this race smoothly. Solaris customers benefits from the flexible support. But to approach this, we need to be flexible as well. Only by cooperating closely to the customers, we can achieve that goal. Therefore, we need to share our knowledge. What is important, we don't want to be the only experts on the market. We insist on close cooperation to make our customers experts. And I believe that this is the key benefit out of this cooperation. I'm sorry. How do we prepare for the maintenance? First of all, we are prepared before takeoff. We are advising customers not only with choosing of technology, but also we would like to make them familiar with the new products which will come to their fleet. I believe that all of you have some experience with alternative drives. But did you know how to handle them? Or maybe it was just learning by doing? Fortunately, Solaris support preparation also for the maintenance. For example, we help with the preparation of facility. I believe that when you are buying the new technology, you are a bit aware how to prepare your workshop. This is not a problem, because complete action plan is waiting here for you. But let's talk about the hydrogen, because this is the main topic of our meeting today. Did you know that Solaris prepared a full guidebook full of tips, information, and things what you should do and definitely what you shouldn't do taking care with the hydrogen technology? Let's say if you don't know where to start with hydrogen, this is not a problem, because we are here to support. If you are not sure if your staff is well prepared for the new technology, again, we are here to support you. And if you have any doubts or problems concerning the emergency, please don't be afraid, because we are standing just behind you. You may ask, why do we do that? Because we know how many contradictory recommendations and unclear legal regulations in the area might seem. Again, we would like to share our knowledge with you. And talking about sharing the knowledge, a few years ago, we were thinking that we might need a special place, well, I would say even institution, for servicing the new technologies like hydrogen. In here, I'm happy to announce you that we already started to build our Solaris Competence Center. Many people might say that this is another central workshop which will be dedicated for servicing the buses nearby. However, I assure you that this place has much more to offer. First of all, definitely this will be the workshop. So the buses which come to this place will be serviced using the highest technology. We will have the special place for the hydrogen. We will have a special place for battery repairs. Second of all, definitely this will be, as we are calling, Solaris Academy, the special place in which there will be the training will be held in the completely new format, especially for the customers, for the drivers, mechanics, and workshop employees. The third of all, definitely this will be a place in which the new technology, in which the experience and the knowledge will be exchanged. But definitely we will not be able to bring all the buses into our place. We are totally aware that the customers need support at their place. When you have at least a little experience with the alternative solutions, you might know that repairs are being sometimes overwhelming. Also in there is a room for new technology. Actually, the key to flexible and effective support is connectivity. What is connectivity? Connectivity is based on the real on-time communication and data exchange. This is also real-time information to passengers, as well as integration with all the systems with smart city offers. One of the ideas how to jump into the connectivity is to provide the over-the-air updates. How does it work? Actually, by the remote access to the bus, we are able to solve problems, we are able to make some modifications, and we are able to update the software. Actually, this is working exactly like with the devices which all of you possess. I have on my smartphones. Over the night, the smartphones are remotely updated to offer you better performance the next day. One of the such solutions in connectivity is already mentioned by Łukasz, ES Connect. This is our in-house designed tool for immediate data collection and analysis for more effective vehicle use. Many activities using the ES Connect may be done even without taking the bus out of road. Based on our knowledge and experience, we know that up to 80% of the failures are coming from the software. Which means that 8 for 10 problems generated by the electric bus might be solved by ES Connect. What about the rest? Actually, this is a very good question. In here, I would like to introduce you the newest technology baby in our Solaris family. I would like to introduce you augmented reality in bus servicing. Using the goggles of augmented reality, your staff will see the bus exactly in the eyes of our mechanics and our specialists. Using this goggle, the person will have immediate access to all documentations with hands-free. All the menu is steered by the voice. But let's say that this is not enough. Also, using the online connection, your staff can immediately connect with our engineers and go with them step by step to make proper troubleshooting. So, feeling like an expert now? But connectivity is not only about bus repairs. Connectivity is provide also the proper information flow to the passengers. It was already mentioned as well, the one-line passenger information system. This system is fully developed and designed in Solaris, and a part of the standards functionality which offers to our customers, this system has one big advantage. This advantage is complex end-to-end support from Solaris. Offering the one-line system, I believe that we are showing with the belief in open data exchange, integration, and standardization. Quite a bunch of tools, isn't it? But they will not work without the background of the people. In Solaris, we are supporting each technology, from the very well-known diesel through the CNG, hybrid solutions, trolleys, finishing on the battery and hydrogen buses. We never let our customers alone. It is also worth to mention that we have a special team dedicated for the new technology. There is a mobility department. The specialists in this department are fully dedicated to support the customers possessing the electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles. Actually, I need to say that the guys working in these departments are a little bit freaks, because they are not stopped before they will not solve the problem. Last link connecting all the after-sales activities is the spare parts. As we are the spare parts suppliers, we are aware that the market is becoming very complicated. Due to the fact that we challenges with the spare parts availability and growing fleet of our Solaris buses, we decided to extend our stock. At the beginning of this year, we decided to double the area of our central warehouse. Solaris Logistics Center is the heart of the spare parts, and now it beats twice as hard. This pump transfers the spare parts to our regional warehouses for market-specific and customer-specific parts to be at place. And with the spare parts, the circle closes. As I stressed at the beginning, Solaris not alone would like to be an expert. The teamwork is the key word. We need you as much as you need us. And we have mutual goal to keep all the vehicles running on the streets. To summarize, cooperation is the key, the experts' cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kuba, for this very interesting presentation, but I would like to ask you to stay on the stage. And again, I would like to invite on the stage Łukasz and Romuald. Please join us. Thank you guys for these interesting slides and information, but I assume that our audience have more questions about the things you presented. So this is the time to ask their questions to our speakers. This is the first Q&A session out of 2 sessions planned for today. To ask the question, please raise your hand and Mariana will bring you the microphone so we can hear you here in the conference room, but also you can be hearable for our you can be heard by our viewers online. So who has a question? Here we have a gentleman in the first row.
The question refers to different aspects. We are talking about the electricity, but the problem is if Poland as a country is really prepared. Because introduction of electricity in many countries, like for example in Sweden, is also connected with rebuilding the cities, if you are talking the cities. It's not the replacing a normal diesel bus by electric bus. It's changing the system of business model, preparation of the platform for discussion with city authorities, with the supplier of energy. In Poland, the system of purchasing of electric buses is partly destroyed by possibility of receiving the donations. But the problem is going up to the point of normal effectiveness and real possibility of purchasing if I can choose regarding the TCO. In Poland, we receive the donations, so not everyone looks at the real cost of purchasing. So what can you, as a Solaris, do in order to receive the normal TCO using electric buses? Are you open to discussion with the city authorities, with the government, to make even the changes in the Polish law in order to make that movement towards electrifying the cities much more easier and cheaper for towns? Of course, it's a strategy question. On the normal operational level, many cities, I'm from Wrocław, has to face the real increase in the price for energy by 3-4 times. It really changes the game rules in that field. What to do with that? We may talk about electricity, but who will pay? The passenger paying 2-3 times more for the ticket?
Okay, so what was the question?
Yes, it was a question or rather a statement. Okay. We have to solve the problem. We may talk.
What's the question? Who would like to address
what can you do? What in order to make the life of the electric bus longer, thanks to the batteries? What to do with supporting by you as a supplier of the buses to the authorities of the city to change the model of the event?
Okay, let's suspend here. Okay. Let's suspend here and allow our speakers to answer this series of questions. So who would like to take this question about the TCO of the electric bus, I believe, and how to make it more attractive for our bus operators. I think that majority of this information could be provided by our distinguished guests, because we have in this room plenty of representatives of bus operators. I think that partially these questions should be addressed to them, but of course we'll try to answer. You know. Yeah, Romuald,
Okay.
yeah?
So first of all, hello? Yes. So first of all, we're facing a challenging times, as you mentioned. Yes, we have few or even dozen of problems around the world. Yeah. Both in energetic sectors, we know that especially in Poland, prices of energy will increase dramatically. I would like to refer what Javier said, that the whole business has to be sustainable. So, of course, we would like to work together to develop and to create the most sustainable business and TCO model as is possible, yes? So, in terms of our TCO, of course, we have continuous development of our technologies. We constantly, and I'm looking at Łukasz right now and his team, we are constantly looking for solutions on the market, trying to get as best technology from the market as is possible. So we are looking for batteries which has higher capacity, which are lighter, because all of those factors, at the end of the day, they will be transferred into the lower TCO for the operator. So this is one of the examples what we are doing. Secondly, it's a quality of the bus itself. This is also continuous improvement for the product, where together with production, with technical office, we are making sure that we are delivering to the customer buses which can last much longer than usually, because TCO is counted in years at the end of the day. So these might be the factors which in the future will help us to develop the common goal, which is the lower TCO in these challenging times at the end of the day.
So I hope that at least partially we answer your question. If you'd like to continue this conversation, you're more than welcome in the second part of our today's event. Any other questions? Please.
I hope my question will be much simpler. In which extent in that complex relation OEM-client, a common lip service, recommendations from your already existing clients helps you to improve your position, to be more competitive, and to develop so rapidly and extensively?
Maybe I will take this question. So actually I believe that I said a lot about this, how we are working with the servicing. We are working very close to the customers. We are trying to teach our customers. We are trying to work together, because we know that with all the technology, all the buses on the market, we are not able to make it alone. And I believe that this is our advantage, and this is the added value not only for us, but also for the customers, because they are becoming experts.
Okay, we have a question over there.
Hi, good morning, Thorsten Wagner from Germany. A question for the first gentleman. I forgot your name, actually.
Left and from the right.
Looking from your...
in the middle. The first
in the middle.
speaker in the middle.
First speaker in the middle. Okay,
Yes.
Łukasz. Yeah.
You were talking about equipment of the buses and so on, yeah. And usually we all know here, there are many experts, that standardization is a big topic over, not centuries, but tens of years. Will that still be the case in the future? So will every electric bus, every hydrogen bus be very specified to the customer need, or is there some glance of standardization at the end of the tunnel?
Thank you for this question. How we manage that so many configurations which I presented? We manage by smart developing. Smart developing means, in our case, the modularity. We build our buses in the modular way, trying to use in different configurations the same variants, the same groups of solutions, but looking on the interfaces from the external world, you're right that the standardization is the main key, because all customers are focused on that to have the same interface, for example, with chargers or with hydrogen stations, and communication between the station outside the bus and the communicator inside the bus in the same way. Doesn't matter if it is a Solaris bus or our competitors. So we follow all the regulation and standardization in the world to keep this standardization. However, we are able to offer our customers so many variants of buses using modularity.
Thank you, Łukasz. Thank you for the question. And now we have a
Yes, hello.
Next one.
I'm from Romania. Cristiana Sandulescu is my name. So, except for the environmental benefits that we all agree upon, regarding the economical aspect of the investment in electric and hybrid vehicles, what can you tell us about the return of investment in this type of vehicles, considering now that the difference between diesel and electric as fuel, let's say, has changed? So there was a gap between the acquisition price that you can recover from the lower exploitation costs. How has this changed in the last year or 2 years, let's say? Thank you.
Who would like to take this question, Robert?
Okay, maybe I will continue the topic of TCO at the end of the day. So, as I said before, the times are quite critical right now. What we see is a big swing of different information coming from the different markets. Poland has increased the price of the energy by 5 times in the last few months. I don't know what about in Romania, frankly speaking, but I assume might be similar or even worse. So for now, it's hard to say or hard to develop any model for all the calculation in coming years. We also see that some of the parts are transferring back to the solution, saying that, oh, maybe diesel is more safe or maybe CNG is more safe for now. But I will be calm for the moment and do not make any
radical
actions when it comes to reversing from the technology of electric buses or hydrogen buses for the moment, to see how the situation on the market will develop with energy costs in the coming future.
We have another question here in the second row.
Zbigniew Rusak, Transinfo.pl. The first impression for your lecture, I have to say that I am very carefully when people said that we can build bus what you need client. I think that we can look for a tram technology where each city has got own tram and the price of this tram is very, very high. And I'm afraid that we have to come back to discuss about standardization, because when we finish additional fund to purchase electric buses in all Europe, I think that the price of buses will be the base ratio to take decision of purchase. But question, you start a project of hydrogen bus when the hydrogen was not available in Poland, and my question is for a kitchen of Solaris, the flexible production. Where are you from? Take hydrogen to test hydrogen bus, and when and method of transport and storage in the Solaris plant of hydrogen?
Actually, we are planning to talk about the hydrogen in the second session, but no, I think it's not a problem that one of our speakers will answer this question. I think it's very easy to answer. You would like to provide answer? If not, I can support you, actually.
I can answer the questions. Looking from the kitchen at the beginning, very beginning, once we started, we used the compressed hydrogen in tanks, and we fill the hydrogen to the lower level of pressure for startup solution. Then, once we started up, for the final check, we ordered the compressors, special compressors, which we are able to fill the hydrogen to the tanks with the maximum 350 bars. So, directly speaking, we buy hydrogen in bottles, which are delivered to our organization, and use the compressor to raise the pressure.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, we have a first fueling stations for hydrogen in Poland already. One of them is located in Konin, one of them is located here, which we are going to see, by the way, in the second part of our event. Do we have any other questions? I need to look around the, okay, over there. Yeah. We have very strong stage lights here, so sometimes I cannot see you.
Jean-Philippe Pastre for Mobility Magazine, France. You recognize the accent. Two questions, but they're very short. The first, you mentioned the Solaris Competence Center. And do you intend to replicate such Solaris Competence Center in your subsidiaries in Europe for the local countries? And the second one is about the over-the-air update. Is it a standard, or do we need to get the ES Connect system to get such service?
Okay, so I will take these two questions. Answering on the first one, let's say this project of Solaris Competence Center is quite a big project. This is something which is much more extended than the workshop, and for the needs of the trainings and the exchange of the technologies workshops, I believe that it will cover the needs of all over the Europe. However, of course, we are thinking to copy-paste this solution, of course, in not that big range, but it depends on the market. If we will see it profitable, if we will see it necessary, we will do that. And answering on the second questions concerning the over-the-air update, each of our electric vehicle is equipped with a data logger, which means that it has a possibility to have the remote access. The rest is up to the customer. So when we found the proper agreement with the customer, then everything is possible.
Thank you very much for this answer, and due to the schedule we have for today, I think we need to suspend here this Q&A session. Our speakers will remain with us for the entire day, so I'm pretty sure they will answer all of the questions which you didn't have a chance to answer right now. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you for this interesting speech and these interesting questions from you, and I hope satisfying answers. And the next part of our Solaris Talks conference is going to be focused on the element which is making, I would say, an unimaginable career over the last few years. I'm in the hydrogen. Because at Solaris, we strongly believe that one of the zero-emission solutions for the sustainable public transportation for the future might be not only battery buses or trolley buses, but part of this mix of the offer might be hydrogen buses. Our next speaker is going to be one of the experts on hydrogen technology in our R&D office, Mr. Paweł Mańkowski, who is engineering R&D department. Paweł, please welcome on stage.
Mateusz, thank you very much for this introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening to those who are watching us online today, live. It feels really good to be here with you today, just minutes, less than an hour before unveiling our latest product. But before we go to that step of the presentation, I would like to present to you a few information about the background of this hydrogen project. As we all know, we live in a very dynamic times. The world around us is changing very quickly, and let's say it's only our choice. How do we adapt to those changes? And to be honest, I feel very proud that us as European Union has chosen to go green with the changes. The most important fact of this thing is the Green Deal. The goal which was set up by the Green Deal is very challenging because by 2050 we would like to achieve 90% of greenhouse emissions reduced. But one of the key factors to achieve that goal is to use the hydrogen, but not only the hydrogen as a fuel, but also clean hydrogen and to produce one, the availability of the renewable hydrogen. And one of the key pillars to do that is the zero-emission buses and public transport. To go deeper into the details of the Green Deal, I would like to discuss of the milestones which are ahead of us. In the first step, in 2025, we will reach 1 million tons of renewable hydrogen. This is the first part, and not the only one. On the second step, when we think about that 2025, we also have to increase the decarbonized hydrogen production, which is a very important step. In the second step, by 2030, we'll reach 10 million tons of production of renewable hydrogen. And not only that, but the market share of the hydrogen in the energy mix should be up to 35%. Also, all those milestones are very important to reach the final destination, the reduction to up to 90% of greenhouse emissions. But it's not only about the hydrogen, if we think about the way to achieve this goal, it's also about other possibilities. We should mention here about hydrogen valleys. This is a very good synergy effect. The main parts of the hydrogen valleys is to produce, store, and use hydrogen in one place, locally, shortening the supply chain, as we have seen during last years, during pandemic, is very important. So having all those composites, all those main parts together in one place, this is very important and makes the solution even more robust for the future. And Solaris do believe in this solution. That's why today we are part of two hydrogen valleys. One is the Wielkopolska Hydrogen Valley and Mazovia Hydrogen Valley. But it's not only about the hydrogen, it's also about the infrastructure. Just like the number of the vehicles, the number of refilling stations is growing each year. For today, we have to say we have over 200 refilling hydrogen stations in Europe. When we think about the number of the buses, we can also see the change here. Maybe the number of the buses is not comparable to the zero-emission electric buses, the battery buses today on the market, but the growth between last years, from 2019 up to today, has changed very significantly, which is 6 times more. And many of those buses are hydrogen buses produced by Solaris. And that is something which makes us experts in this field. Like it was mentioned today before by my colleague Łukasz, we are the leader of the electric buses today. And I think an obvious goal for us is to be the leader also in the hydrogen field. So up to today, we have already contracted to deliver 170 hydrogen buses to 20 customers in Europe. Already, 70 of those buses are in operation today in different countries. And up to 100 will be delivered soon during this year and next year. Worth mentioning is that there are many customers here in Europe which are using our solutions, and we are very proud of all of them. But from my point of view, I would like to remind few of them which stick to my memory and are very important for me personally. For example, the Bolzano, which is our first customer of 12-meter hydrogen bus, and it was a very important step for us. Then we had Wuppertal and Cologne, which is here with us today, which gave us plenty of experience in different solutions and situations. And maybe, and last but not least, our internal market leader, let's say today, Konin, who has already have the hydrogen bus and is operating each day. So having that experience and having that knowledge gives us a very clear opinion that none of the customers is the same and every city is different. Between the cities there are different needs. One of them needs a wider range. The other one is looking for an infrastructure which is available at this moment, passenger capacity, but also because of geological position, different countries, different cities have different needs to climate conditions and topography, which bring us to the thing which was also said before, that very important for us is the feasibility study, because the feasibility study is a confident choice, a confident decision for us and for the customer to choose the correct solution for each city. And also, like it was mentioned, hydrogen and battery buses are not working against. There are complementary solutions, and depending on the needs, we can propose one of them. But it's not only about the hydrogen, it's not only about the buses, it's also about the infrastructure. For today, when we think about the refilling solutions, we unfortunately have to say that there is no standard solution so far. When we have our conversation with different companies, with different customers, we can see that approach of refilling stations is different. Some of them are using different components, some are using different refilling process, having connection, not having connection. This is a very interesting topic, and Solaris is really looking forward to develop that in upcoming years. For example, our bus in standard has IRDA communication, which is not a standard in other manufacturers of hydrogen buses, because we do feel that having clear information between the bus and the refilling station is very important and is a key safety factor. That's why in the upcoming future we are taking very close relationship to develop maybe new standards, maybe new type of communication, but the one which will be much safer and much more robust. So speaking about safety, we do have extra components, additional elements on the bus which are very important for this option. So at the beginning, I would like to say that all the components which are working with the hydrogen on the bus are being monitored by the hydrogen detectors, and all of those hydrogen components are located from the refilling nozzle, which is next to the wheel, on the roof of the bus, which is very important in case of different situations, accidents which happen on the streets of different cities. Also, worth mentioning that except this position of the hydrogen system, we have different monitoring and detecting sensors. For example, we have temperature sensors, we have pressure transducers, but also worth mentioning is that the Solaris was the first company to bring to the public with our bus the impact sensors, which is very important in case of any accidents happening next to the cylinders on the top of the bus. Next thing is that each cylinder is equipped with a multifunctional valve, and this multifunctional valve is equipped with an overload valve, also called excess flow valve. In case of any emergency, like breaking the hydrogen high pressure pipe, we are 100% sure that any flow out of this broken pipe is being stopped, which is very important. Next are the TPRD valves. The temperature pressure release devices located on the cylinders in 3 different places. They keep the hydrogen inside the cylinder in case of any thermal accidents on correct pressure. So if anything happens, we are sure that the cylinder is not going to devastate the surroundings, but is going to release the hydrogen in a very safety way. And the hydrogen detecting sensors. And having that information, having all this knowledge with our customers, with our previous solutions, we have new goals which we are going to technologically aim for in the nearest future. We have started in 2014 when we have showed to the public our newest, on that day, Urbino electric with hydrogen range extender. It was the first time when we have showed this solution to the public, but the work behind that was started a few years before that with our main supplier of the fuel cell. During next years, working with the supplier and showing them what kind of needs do we have received the newer version of the fuel cell, optimized one, which was introduced in 2019 on our new 12-meter hydrogen bus. Since those days, we did make many improvements. We have made the software improvements on the whole components of the bus. We have made new steps to reduce the consumption of the hydrogen, and this reduced consumption can be seen later on our latest product, the 18-meter hydrogen bus. For the upcoming years, in R&D department, we also have many important goals, like reaching the new norm, the R134, which will happen probably in next 1 or 2 years on the market, and then further optimization of products and systems. Well, reaching that point, reaching that goal, that further improvement is not easy, but the experience and expertise which we had before during last years give us the opportunity to do that. In 2014, when we have been producing our first hydrogen bus, with the supplier we have received the components and made them work on the bus. During those years, achieving the experience, today we can say that we do it together. Together with our suppliers, we work on introducing, on improving all of the components on the fuel cell, on the hydrogen fuel cell, which gives us the possibility to be one of the leaders on the hydrogen market today. So, having all of that, we can say that the newest bus, which will be presented today, is really enhanced. It's really a new Solaris hydrogen technology, because we will see a new fuel cell with improved parameters and efficiency. We'll also see, except the hydrogen system, a new interior unit, which is very, very better than the last solution, because we do not have few aspects which used to be with us for last years, and also gives us the higher level of customization. We also will see the newest modular drive, which means a more flexibility when we think about the operation, but also about the servicing of those components. And this is not all, because having all those experience, we did add a little bit of flexibility to the drive system, which can give a better performance in different driving conditions. But this is something which will be coming soon, and fortunately, in less than an hour. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Paweł, for sharing with us this interesting information about the hydrogen technology itself and our hydrogen vehicles. And now we are going to listen the presentation from the, let's say, presenting practitioner's point of view, because shortly on the stage we will welcome Alisa Meyer from RVK Cologne, the bus operator who has a very long and wide experience of deploying and using hydrogen buses. So I would like to very kindly welcome on stage Alisa Meyer.
Thank you for the introducing words, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here to you at this event today, and to talk about our practical experience in deploying Europe's biggest fuel cell bus fleet, and our next planned steps until 2025. Actually, today, my colleague, the director of our technical department, would have been here, but he fell ill at short notice, so I represent here today RVK and him as well. At the beginning, some facts and introducing words about the company RVK. We are a public regional transport company in Cologne region. with, on the one hand, rather urban and suburban areas, and on the other hand, more rural areas with only a low population density. The headquarters is located in Cologne, while the daily operation is managed by 6 local depots in the region, which you can see on the map. The fleet consists of 565 buses, of which approximately 350 buses are RVK-owned buses, and the other are from local subcontractors. Yeah, we are active in different or different areas of activities. There are 3 main areas. Of course, the core area is the daily transport services, in which we offer regular bus services and on-demand mobility services on a daily service base or on behalf of others. In addition, we support our shareholders at the implementation of e-bike rental systems, mostly in rural areas. And we want to digitalize many processes and structures to simplify our daily operation, to improve safety aspects, and to provide our personnel and customers comfortable and simply offers and application like digital and cashless payments, like free Wi-Fi, and want to provide our drivers mobile services for their daily operation. Another important aspect for us is the area of activity Climate in Future. In order to achieve our internal goal to be as most climate friendly as possible, we are carrying out different energetic refurbishment and modernization of our depots. We are in the planning phase of 2 large-scale projects at the moment. One of them is a training and education center where we focus on emission-free technologies, on emission-free buses, and to educate people and our own personnel in this kind of area. The other big project is building up a new climate-neutral bus depot, where only emission-free buses will be located, and where we will making self-production of green hydrogen for internal use. Of course, the procurement and the use of climate-friendly drivers, including stationary and non-stationary refueling infrastructure, is another main target to achieve our internal climate goals. And this goal was already been expressed in 2009 as part of our project Zero Emission. RVK has the self-commitment that by 2030 at the latest, only vehicles with emission-free drive systems will be procured. By then, a large part of the bus fleet should have already been converted, and the corresponding infrastructure should have been built up. But in principle, we are open to all types of new technologies and alternative technologies, but we have to say that the focus is clearly on fuel cell technology. Yeah, so why we are focusing on fuel cell buses? Since our local depots and our structure is very decentralized, you have seen it on the map at the beginning. We we need some special modifications. The range and the refueling time are comparable to diesel buses. That is a big advantage for us. This provides us greater flexibility in our daily operation. So we had no major adjustments in our daily planning and our daily operation. And since the depots are very small, and we are at some sites just tenants of other transport operators, the one-by-one replacement and the space efficiency are other important aspects for us. Why we focus, or why we decided to focus on the fuel cell technology. So yeah, we started in 2011 with the first prototypes in service, followed by 2 pre-serial buses from Van Hoel in 2014. They are still in service. And in 2020, we finally started using serial bus production, or serial production buses. The serial production consists of 35 Van Hoel buses, which were ordered as part of the EU project JIVE. In the follow-up project, JIVE 2, RWK has ordered additional 15 Solaris buses. The delivery was completed at the beginning of this year, and the buses are already in regular service. So at the moment we have 52 fuel cell buses in service, and to refuel all of these buses we have built up 2 own hydrogen refueling stations in recent years. To have a satisfactory network of HRS in Cologne region. But in the future, it is necessary to have further refueling stations and increased capacity. So here on the map you can see our current plans for the region. There will be RWK-owned HRS. But we want to use as a customer hydrogen or buy hydrogen at other public hydrogen refueling stations in the region. So it will be important to have enough capacity and backup options in the region to avoid downtimes of the bus fleet when there is a problem at one location. So the goal is to have a second HRS next or near to the other HRS and to have mobile services like trailers as a backup system when there are problems and downtimes with one HRS at one location. So this was the first kind of practical experience, and here are some other experience that we gathered from daily operations over the last few months. First of all, I have to say that the integration of the buses, of the fuel cell buses, into existing operational structures are absolutely feasible. It is a lot of work, but for our special situation, it was the best solution compared to the implementation of battery electric buses. And of course, it is normal that at the beginning, in the ramp-up phase, there is a certain adaptation time. And this you have to plan and held some diesel buses as reserve, of course. Because the new buses, the fuel cell buses, has get used to the surrounding, to the routes, and of course the staff, the personnel, have to get used to the new technology. For RVK, it was very important to develop and establish regular communication, discussion rounds with the manufacturer. As the manufacturer of the fuel cell buses were quite new to us. We had no diesel buses from this manufacturer in our existing fleet, so there are new contact persons, there are new structures to which everybody has to get used to. This was a very important point for us, and is still a very important point for the upcoming months and the further collaboration. Another very important aspect is the early and comprehensive training of the own personnel, like drivers, maintenance staff, administrative staff, but of course of enough workshop employees. When you have partner workshops, like it's the case for RVK, we don't have our own workshops. We are working with the manufacturer, the supplier of the buses, and partner workshops together. And we see at the moment that it's quite difficult to have enough workforce, manpower. So this is a very important point, to have the fleet in operation, that there are enough manpower and trained manpower in the future. The next two aspects may be affected negatively by the current pandemic situation, but we have seen that in the last months that the fuel cell buses had longer and mainly avoidable downtimes due to longer delivery times of mostly conventional spare parts like tires or something like that. So we have to keep more diesel buses as a reserve as we wanted. So that's not our goal. Our goal is the one-by-one replacement. And this is a very important point for the future for us, that we can let go our diesel buses and to have fuel cell buses which are ready for the service. A good point is that the average consumption, in our case 8 kilogram per 100 kilometer, is lower than assumed. This is good news in this current times of high energy prices and hydrogen prices. And we can see that the investment cost has decreased over the last years. So I can show you on the next slide where we started at the beginning of, or in the year 2011 with our prototypes. They had a price of around 2 million euros per bus, so very expensive. The pre-serial buses in 2014 were with nearly $1.3 million, very expensive as well, but we seen that a big step towards lower bus prices were made with the two EU drive projects in which we participated. They set a price maximum, a price limit. So, for example, in Drive 2 of 625,000 euros per bus. This was a good start. And in the current German funding program, fuel cell buses are supported with a maximum price of 590,000 euro. And we assume, or we hope, that the bus prices will be below 500,000 euros per bus in near future. maybe one step back. So, of course, at the moment, the purchasing of fuel cell buses is not possible without funding. So, for the future, as we heard from the EU, that maybe the funding program will not be available, like until 2030. This is a very important aspect that the bus prices needs to get down to convert our fleet or the bus fleet in a very big range or in a very big amount of buses. So what are our next steps to get closer to our aim zero emission? We will procure another 108 fuel cell buses. We have already the funding from the German Transport Ministry. We get almost 34 million euro for these buses, so good news for us, big amount. And we want to use up to 10 hydrogen refueling stations in Cologne region till 2025. Yes, the first contract or the first order is already placed with Solaris for up to 40 fuel cell buses, and we expect the first buses at the end of this year. Of course, they will be 12-meter buses, but with the presentation today of the 18-meter bus, we are very exciting and, of course, want to test this bus under real condition also in this year, as we really need in our fleet 18-meter buses. So that's very good news that the bus is available and we can test it. Yes, and to finish my presentation, I want to give an outlook for the year 2025. Then around 3/4 of our bus fleet will be emission-friendly buses. So mainly fuel cell buses, some battery electric buses, and CNG buses, which are already in service and will be replaced to fuel cell buses in the future. Then, as already mentioned, we want to use up to 10 HRS in our area. This will be a mix of RWK-owned station on our depots and HRS of third parties. The focus is clearly on public accessibility, as we want to provide municipality and commercial users that they have the opportunity to refuel their vehicles at the station as well. And moreover, we want to continue our plan of the project Zero Emission to convert our fleet to complete zero emission bus fleet in after 2025. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention, and I'm open for questions. Otherwise, you can contact us via the provided details here from Mr. Zinke.
Thank you very much, Alisa, for this interesting presentation. I'm pretty sure that you have a lot of questions to Alisa, but also to our previous speaker, Pavel. So, Pavel, please join us at stage again. So now we are going to start our second Q&A session, and we have a bit more time than we planned initially, so I think there will be enough time to answer all of them, or at least most of them. So we have a first question here in the, okay, I don't know who was first. There are so many hands in the, oh, ladies first. Okay, this time we'll follow this rule.
Sorry, one short question. Who provides the hydrogen that you use, and in what percentage is this hydrogen green? Thank you.
We have different suppliers, but we switched to green hydrogen at the beginning of this year because it's very important for us to use green hydrogen to get closer to our aim, zero emission. One of the suppliers is Linde, and in the future, we are in contact with different suppliers. So we will see.
Thank you. Where's the next question? Okay, we have the next.
Two short questions, one for each. Ladies first. Do you think that hydrogen is an advantage price-wise when we think about all the stuff we hear every day, gas, and the price of electricity attached to that and so on? That's the question for you. And for Pavel, the world is not only resolving around Solaris, we all know this, so there are some competitors that switch to liquefied hydrogen. What do you think about that from a technical point of view?
Yes, of course, at the moment, the prices for hydrogen are high, are not good for us as a company. It's not competitive, but for the future, we think really that it will go down, and decline the prices, and it's the best solution for us to be zero emission bus fleet.
Okay, and about the question about the
liquid hydrogen. Yeah.
Liquid hydrogen, yes. So I would say that today, when we look at the market, there are different options to store the hydrogen. Also, like there are different options to store the CNG. And when we, for example, look at the CNG market, and we see how many buses or different vehicles which use compressed gas and the liquid gas, we can see the difference that more of them are using CNG. I think this is maybe similar to the hydrogen because until we'll have enough space to cover all the needs of our customers, probably we'll stay with the compressed hydrogen. But when we look at the market today, we can see that the truck market is going further for the liquid hydrogen storage systems. And depending on the needs, on the situation, if it will be possible and affordable to do that, I would say yes. But today, compressed hydrogen is the way. From my point of view, of course.
If I may add something, or I would turn around a bit the question. So at the moment, Solaris is using 350 bars technology, but does Solaris exclude in the future using other technologies? The answer would be, does Solaris exclude other technologies?
No, never.
No. So I think it was a very strict answer to your question. Okay, do we have another one? Okay.
Dieter Hanke, Germany.
Okay, sorry.
Two questions to Alisa Meyer. First, you mentioned where you see the price for 12-meter hydrogen buses, but where do you see the price for hydrogen Arctics in the near future? And second question, how will you make your many subcontractors to operate hydrogen buses? Because some of them do very low mileages a day.
Yes, maybe I can answer the second question first. We are in ongoing talks with our subcontractors. If they want to be emission friendly, they are mostly private companies, small companies, so it's very difficult for them. And maybe it's a solution for the future that with our experience we can help them step by step to get closer to zero emission and to achieve the goals of the Clean Vehicles Directive in the future. But it's very challenging. That's true because the special requirements of the subcontractors are very different and not comparable to our company as a little bit bigger and kind of public transport. The first question was about the bus price of the 80-meter buses, correct? Yeah, that's a good question. We are happy that the bus is there now, so the price is the second question. But of course, the prices have to go down for 12-meter buses and for 80-meter buses in the future.
I think we also give you some hints of the pricing of the 80-meter bus later today, after the official launching of this of this 80-meter hydrogen bus. So thank you much for these questions. We have more, okay?
Yeah.
Who is next? Or...
Here.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Dzień dobry, good morning. Ivan Bue from Spain, ALSA. I have two different questions that I would like to forward to Paweł, and they are drifted into different directions, okay? First of all, picking one topic that has came up before, TCO. One of the things that operators that are starting with hydrogen buses are facing is that the cost of the fuel is much more higher than diesel or electricity. So the question would be, when Solaris forecasts that this cost would go comparable to these two fuel solutions, or which steps should be taken to reach this point? And the second question, as we foresee that the hydrogen solution has more sense, gains more sense in range above 300 kilometers, which are the expectation of Solaris to implement the hydrogen solution into the rest of the products portfolio overall in Class 2? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for these questions. About the first question about the price of the hydrogen, it's, for me personally, as an R&D leader, it's really hard to say when exactly will the hydrogen price go down. To be honest, I'm really looking forward for the Green Deal and the agreements and the milestones on that. So hopefully by 2030, when we reach the number of the hydrogen which will be produced, the price should go down. But I don't think there is anybody here on this stage and this place to guarantee you that. And the second question about the new buses, new possible hydrogen buses in our portfolio. Well, I am responsible for delivering and developing new systems, new hydrogen systems when it comes to the fuel cell and to the storage system. If you would ask me, I would say, yes, let's make plenty of hydrogen buses with different ways of operation. But the truth is that we are really looking closely to the market and we are looking for the demand. So like you have said, if the demand will be to have the hydrogen buses, which will be driving more than 300 kilometers each day, I would say we've got the city buses today for that. But if we think another different type of operation, if the demand will be there on the market, probably our board will say, yes, let's do those.
So I would say that, adding to the comment to the answer from Paweł, that this is actually what you are asking for. This is part of this feasibility study which you are providing on the very initial stage of contacting our customers to advise them which option would be the best in terms of TCO, but also range and other features. Some of them are controlled by us. Some of them are beyond our control, yeah, as the OEM of the vehicles. But this is part of our job to give you an answer, to provide you with the right solutions for the mobility in terms of different specification of our final specification of our bus. So thank you for your questions. We have another ones over there. Yeah.
Jean-Philippe Pastre, Mobilité Magazine, France. Two questions linked with the fuel cell itself. About the feedback about your experience with the fuel cell. What's the lifetime of the fuel cell? And the second question is linked and more dedicated to Paweł. How sensitive is the fuel cell to the purity of the hydrogen? Because I have heard about the level of grade 5 requested for fuel cells.
Thank you very much for this question. When we think about the lifetime of a fuel cell today, I would say that the fuel cell which we work today with our supplier, we say that we have 25,000 working hours of lifetime of the fuel cell, and after that time, this fuel cell can be refurbished. It doesn't have to be exchanged totally. It can be used one more time with changing just some part of the components of the fuel cell. About the second question,
purity of the hydrogen.
Purity of the hydrogen.
How it's impacting this lifetime of the fuel cell?
Well, I would say that previously in our previous generation of that 18-meter bus, which was in 2013, the purity was very important because, as it was known then, the quality has to be 99.999% of hydrogen in hydrogen, which was really a very high number. But today, with the fuel cells which we are using, the purity can be a little bit lower, 99.97%, which is very good information, I think, for the end customer because the price of the hydrogen is lower in those days. And what kind of impact does this impurity of the hydrogen has to the fuel cell? Of course, it's the same as you use in different other engines, for example. If you use a poor quality of petrol, then you can see what are the changes in the engine. In here, we can say that, well, sometimes if something happens and you have some impurities, we do have a filtering system all around between the injection nozzle up to the fuel cell, which can take that out, mostly, I mean the moisture. So we are prepared for those occasions, and if you have that low quality of hydrogen used in the fuel cell, you can see that the performance of the fuel cell is getting lower, but usually if something like that happened, it's not like a permanent, let's say, damage to the fuel cell. It can be restored during cycles on a better quality of hydrogen, but it's really different in different cases. So I would say that we are prepared, but we never recommend to use poor quality of hydrogen.
Thank you very much, Pavel. More questions?
We all know from the school that hydrogen is highly flammable in almost every mixture with air. We all know that it's highly explosive with almost every mixture with air. You cannot see the flame, you cannot find the flame because it radiates very low heat. And then you say it's safe because you have several sensors in the bus. We'll have 1 million tons of hydrogen all over Europe soon, and you say that it's safe. It seems like a joke.
Well, I think it's really hard question, and I think it's like a, well, we call it not a problem, but a challenge which has to be taken by each industry. So from our point of view as bus suppliers and bus manufacturers, I would say that we are prepared for that. When we think about the whole Europe and the whole industry and installation, I think we as together have to make the same steps to be sure that it's safe. And I think it can be achieved. Maybe it sounds a little bit like a joke that it's safe to use hydrogen, but we really trust and believe in that because we have done the things and the steps which has to be taken to that on our buses.
Mm-hmm. If I may add something to this answer, it was already said in the first part of our presentation. Kuba mentioned that our after-sales team is providing a lot of recommendations and trainings in terms of safety also for hydrogen buses. So as Solaris, we are also providing the full manual and protocol how to safely, I would say, deal with this gas, which is compressed hydrogen. And if you follow certain rules, we can say it's a safe fuel, the same like with any other fuel, diesel or electricity. But of course, usually the weakest point in these procedures are usually a human factor. But if you follow these procedures, we can say it will be safe. So thank you very much for this question. The next one we have here in the first row. I know who was first.
Okay, this time short questions. The first one to Alisa. Have you made, coming back to TCO, the comparison of neutral TCO? During your presentation, at the bottom of some slides, we could see a long list of donators. That means that without donations, that projects in the field of economy may collapse. So have you got the comparison of the real neutral cost without donation of the diesel bus and hydrogen bus? Your vision of the cost in the future, because someone has to pay for that. Have you got any donation, or finally the passenger would pay? And to Pavel, the next question, the second one, coming back to that question asked by my colleague. Safety is a real problem. It's not talking also a bus. We are now living in the specific world. Some of the filling stations of hydrogen blow up in Norway, etc. It's the problem of the terrorist attacks using drones. It's really open questions what might happen. So it's talking about the fact that the bus itself should be protected against such the attack. It's the first time.
I think it's the scope of the other conference.
Yes, no, it's a problem. Also, we may.
Okay, the first question is very simple. So maybe first we focus on the first question to Alisa. So if I may ask you to provide an answer.
Yes, if I understand correctly, how we want to, or how the price, the higher price, increase the ticket fare of, for example, in our case. The districts and cities in the region are our shareholders, so they pay for it and not the customer at the end. And we have the luck that the cities and the districts are will be prepared for the future and standing behind zero emission and our idea. That's a good point for us in the question of higher prices.
Mm-hmm. Thank you much for that. And the second question to Pavel was specifically about the safety. I think we partially already answered, but you're asking about the charging infrastructure, fueling infrastructure, which is, I would say, more questions dedicated to the providers of these solutions. But of course, we as Solaris, providing the vehicles, we very closely cooperate with the providers of the refueling station to be sure that entire solution as such is safety and it's following all of the rules and the procedures. So we are cooperating with different suppliers. One of them was already mentioned in Alisa's presentation, but we have experience from cooperating with other hydrogen suppliers, and today we also see one of them at the depot. So maybe there we can more in deep discuss this issue. So thank you much for these questions. We have another one.
Hello, Alexander Kierecki. I have a question to Alicia. What is exactly the price of 1 kilo of hydrogen for FVK buses?
As of today, yeah.
Yeah, that's a question I can't answer, sorry, because I don't know at the moment, because the energy prices are changing from day to day. So what I can say is that before the energy crisis, the price of refueling the buses was quite comparable to diesel. And now, of course, it's higher, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. We have another question here in the first row.
It's a question to Alisa. In one of your slides, I read about higher downtimes of hydrogen buses. Does it mean that they are more faulted than diesel ones? Or is it just a problem with parts supplies?
The main problem is the supply or the delivery of spare parts. Of course, there are sometimes problems with fuel cell or other things, but these problems can be resolved more quickly. Then, in collaboration with the workshops and the manufacturer, the staff is well trained, so that's the minor problem.
Thank you for that. Another questions, I think here in the middle, in the second row.
Yes. Thank you. Question to Alicia. I'm wondering, what is the opinion passenger about hydrogen buses?
Yeah, we got feedback from our drivers as well from our customers or passengers that they are happy or very comfortable, that they have a very comfortable feeling in the buses, as well from people who live around our bus stops, that when the bus is there, it's very, there's no noise anymore when the bus is standing there. Mostly we hear a good reputation or feedback. But of course, for the passenger, it is the most important thing that the bus is coming on time. The second thing is it a diesel bus or a fuel cell bus or a battery electric bus?
Thank you. We have another question.
Paweł Jankowski, MZA, City of Warsaw. I have a question to both of you. We are still talking about total cost of ownership for all our companies, like operators and agencies. But the main question is, because we are talking about our future, next generation future, which factor? I mean, we have two factors which determine the hydrogen strategy. Is the price of buses, which is increase or decrease, you have shown us the prices, and the second one, the prices of hydrogen straight as a component of this strategy. What is your opinion? Which of these components will be more important for us? It means that it will be decreasing in the nearest future. Or, I mean, hydrogen or prices of buses?
Who would like to be first?
I think both prices are important, but for a transport company, the hydrogen price is more important because you do one time the investment for the bus, and but you have to refuel it every day. So this point is, or this price for hydrogen is, more important for a bus operator.
Anything to add, Paweł?
Well, I would like to add that what we can see, let's say, in the last years, which has passed, and in upcoming years, I would say that the main factor to decrease the prices of both things, like the fuel or the buses or everything which is around the hydrogen, is the competition. And today and during last years, we can see that the competition is growing. So I think that in the end, the price will be lowering.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I'm just discreetly trying to control the time of our event, but we still have, let's say, time for last two questions.
Very short. The one question that or you can analyze what's cost of hydrogen buses is higher, the same or lower the compared with exploitation of diesel buses. This is the first question. In the percentage, not amount. And second question, you showed that you use 600 buses, and in this moment we use from the 10 fuel station, hydrogen fuel station, and the last drawing you showed that you will available the next 10 fuel station. For me, 20 hydrogen fuel station for 600 buses is it's a very big amount, and this is effect of a big area what you service, or it's another factor that you need available a lot of hydrogen filling stations.
So at the moment we have 2 own hydrogen refueling stations and 2 to 3 stations that we can use as a customer. And in the future, in 2025, the plan is to use 10 hydrogen stations in the region. It is, in fact, the reason why we are have such a decentralized structure with many depots, and the traffic area is very large, so we can't refuel our buses from 2 depots at another depot. That's not possible because the distance is too far. I think that's all to this question.
Okay, thank you much. Thank you, Alisa. So, and the last question in this session. I think I know who was first. Maybe we'll give a chance to somebody else, and your question will leave for the later part of our program. There was a question over there on my right side, one of the last rows in the room.
Hello, Michal Stengel, magazine Transporta Logistika, Czech Republic. I have a question. How sensitive is the consumption of hydrogen for outside temperature? You said that you have average consumption 8 kilogram per 100 kilometers. And what about in winter, summer, hot summer, cold winter? Thanks a lot.
Yes, so we've seen that in the winter times the consumption is higher than in the summer times. but then it's maybe 9 kilograms. So the difference is not that much. So for us, it's okay.
So this 8 kilograms you mentioned during your presentation is a yearly average, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pavel, anything to add to that?
Well, I would like to add
answer?
just maybe one thing that, of course, it's depending on the climate conditions, but also, let's say, it also depends on the solution. For example, in our buses, we use air conditioning with the heat pump, which efficiency is very high and the consumption of the power is less. So, of course, climate conditions, but also the solution.
So thank you for that. As we contracted, this was the last question for now. So once again, thank you very much, Alicia. Thank you very much, Pavel, for your interesting presentations. And thank you for answering these, I think, very challenging questions, but you managed very well. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we reach a very well-deserved point in our agenda, which is a coffee break. So we have a coffee break for all of you watching us online and all of you being here with us in the conference room. And we are going to meet exactly at 12 o'clock, just slightly before the 12 o'clock. We are going to be back 12, because at 12 o'clock we will finally reach the highlight of our agenda, which is going to be the premiere of Solaris Urbino 18 hydrogen bus. So see you after the break. If I can say something just for you here in the room, the coffee break is on this floor, yeah? Just you need to go out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again after the coffee break. And now, very long-awaited moment, I believe, by all of us. Let me introduce you the brand new Solaris Urbino 18 hydrogen.
Welcome. This is an important day for us, in a very special place. The Solaris factory in Bolechowo, where each and every day we prove that Solaris not only can, but does change the world for the better. It is happening right here and now, as we present to you today's star. We may even call it an 18-meter-long superstar. Why? What else should we call a bus that could revolutionize urban transport in the near future? But more on that in a moment. Let's start at the beginning.
Solaris does not follow trends, it sets them. A city of the future is a city built for its residents and for their comfort. This is what modern mobility means. No emissions, no engine noise. Cities that we and our children would dream of living in. Solaris has been creating transport solutions of the future for over a decade. Solaris knew more than a decade ago that zero-emission transport technology is the future. A future which now becomes our present.
Our cities are improving. They are increasingly comfortable and clean. They are simply better places to live. The work Solaris is doing has a direct impact on these changes. Zero-emission buses do not produce any pollutants and are also incredibly quiet in operation. Solaris has been setting the direction of ecological change in public transportation for years now. We introduced our first trolley buses in 2001. These were followed by hybrids and then fully electric battery buses. We have been developing hydrogen technologies since 2014, when we produced an electric Solaris Urbino for the city of Hamburg, equipped with a hydrogen range extender. At the end of 2019, we built our first fuel cell dominant, hydrogen-powered 12-meter-long bus. Now, the time has come for the next step.
When in 2019 Solaris presented its first hydrogen-powered bus, the rules of the game changed. Even before the Urbino 12 hydrogen model left the factory, it was admired by those in our industry. The German Bus Planner magazine awarded it the Concept Vehicle category award. Since then, numerous European cities have been supplied with Solaris hydrogen-powered buses, ensuring passengers a safe and comfortable way to travel. Yet now, the time has come to take another step forward. We present to you the Solaris Urbino 18 Hydrogen, a bus with the power to transform our cities.
When I joined Solaris 14 years ago, we are not yet thinking about hydrogen. Only a few years have passed since buses began to be more frequently powered by electricity. So some might ask, why we also choose hydrogen? And rightly so. But we shouldn't choose between battery and hydrogen. They are complementary solutions in the ambitious drive towards zero-emission public transport. So it is not about what, but how. And how? Smart. Like utilizing proven and reliable solutions from market experts with the most experience in e-mobility. And this is exactly what Solaris stands for. 3 years ago, when launching the Urbino 12 Hydrogen, not only did we make a market breakthrough with hydrogen bus sales, but also implemented the conception of fuel cell dominant buses for good. Meaning, reduced number of battery just to have enough power for covering different types of operation, like acceleration or recuperation charging, but almost all of the power is taken directly from the fuel cell, which is operating as long as the bus itself. This solution gave us the opportunity to reduce the weight of the components, which translates into a greater passenger capacity. The very same idea is shared in our newest product, the hydrogen articulated bus. The reduced number of batteries and higher power of the fuel cell is enough to efficiently operate our state-of-the-art city bus, and it gives the possibility of carrying up to 138 passengers. Another benefit of a fuel cell dominant vehicle: quick preparation for your next run. As almost all the energy is gathered in the hydrogen, only a hydrogen refill is required to continue driving. After refilling, the bus is ready for around another 350 kilometers of driving in different weather conditions. No extra infrastructure, like a charging station, is needed to prepare the bus for the road. The refilling process of an 18-meter hydrogen bus can be reduced to 10 minutes if the hydrogen refilling station is equipped properly. Last but not least, did you know that Solaris hydrogen buses, as standard, do not, and I repeat, do not need any external preconditioning if outside temperatures fall below zero? This solution and the infrared communication between the bus and the refilling station are a Solaris standard in hydrogen vehicles, which is unlike other vehicles on the market today. But there is another aspect which is equally important.
Every day, buses transport millions of people to and from work, school, to important social and business meetings. Many European cities trust zero-emission Solaris vehicles. Some, such as Bolzano, Hamburg, Riga, Wuppertal, Konin and Cologne, and more in the Netherlands, have already chosen our hydrogen-powered buses. We know that safety is essential. That is why the Urbino Hydrogen combines not only new technologies that are resilient and efficient, but also provides complete safety. It is equipped with an integrated safety system that includes 5 hydrogen detectors to cover all areas on the bus, impact sensors in case of an accident near the hydrogen system, multifunctional valves on each cylinder with additional safety components like excess flow valves. Temperature and pressure sensors monitor hydrogen parameters. TPRD valves safely remove hydrogen in case temperature parameters are exceeded. The refueling connector has additional safety features. The bus constantly monitors hydrogen propulsion parameters, allowing the Solaris Urbino 18 hydrogen to travel safely everywhere, in any conditions and in any weather.
Solaris is fundamentally based on the latest technologies. With hydrogen power, the effects are better than ever. The Urbino 18 hydrogen redefines what modern public transport can be. But what makes this bus so special? On the one hand, it is extremely technologically advanced, and on the other, it is a natural continuation of the Solaris style. The Urbino 18 hydrogen has the same features as our electric buses. It is incredibly quiet and ecologically friendly. It is still the same well-known zero-emission Urbino, with a much longer range and a higher passenger capacity. This is at the heart of the conscious evolution of our products. This is why Solaris Urbino 18 hydrogen it is so special.
Solaris will soon deliver its 2000th e-bus, which will transport the residents of more than 100 cities all over Europe. Each bus has its own story, and every city has different needs. Those in the sweltering south are different to those in the frozen north. All cities differ, and Solaris buses are designed to perfectly adapt to meet the needs of these differences. This is why each bus is unique, thanks to the personalization process involved in each vehicle's production. This is something that our experts can tell us about.
Although our buses appear to be similar, this is the only first impression. Each model is adapted to the needs of individual clients and markets. They differ in the way the interiors are arranged and the facilities fitted for the passenger comfort. Frontal lights and different kinds of cabin are only some of the examples of successful personalization. Urbino 18 hydrogen is no exception. Everything which involves traction components, hydrogen components, cooling systems, and other systems are fixed in such a way that interior can be designed, prepared, and adapted just as well as our standard electric bus. Or even better, because of the absence of the engine tower. Why is this so important? It leaves more room for passengers. Take a look. Easy flow of passengers, better seat arrangement. Thanks to this solution, our bus can accommodate up to 138 people. Our customers can easily transfer solutions implemented on their own Solaris buses and have them in the hydrogen version of the bus. They are still just as flexible. And moreover, some additional settings, like choosing the site for the hydrogen refueling panel, are features that are already available. Safety is a priority for us. This is why all our vehicles are fitted with the latest, most up-to-date safety systems. Let's now cover them in detail. Our bus is fitted with the Mirror Eye system, which uses cameras in place of traditional mirrors. This allows drivers to see what is happening around the vehicle at all times and to react accordingly. The Mobileye Shield Plus system eliminates blind spots. Drivers are informed via sounds and visual prompts if persons or vehicles approach their bus. Our very own system, ES Connect, allows the fleet to be remotely managed. It ensures full telemetry, data analysis, and servicing not just of faults as they occur, but also predicting what is likely to occur in the near future. Boarding a bus at the end of a long day's work, we wish to relax. Traveling home should be a pleasure. The Solaris Urbino 18 Hydrogen makes this possible. All passengers will instantly notice how quiet it is in operation. The LED lighting we use is kind of the human eye, as well as being aesthetically attractive. There are many other passenger-friendly features. USB points, illuminated buttons, interior panels allowing the installation of larger monitors.
Solaris has introduced improvements on many levels, so that transport becomes more robust and reliable, even in the most demanding cities. And yet, while designing it, Solaris specialists were not only thinking about its utilitarian aspect, but about its appearance too. Buses are an asset to every city, hence the need for a modern appearance. Jens Timisch will now tell us about the art of the bus design.
Solaris represents modern design while retaining maximum usefulness and practicality, constructed with care for the tiniest details. As designers, we focus on 3 target groups: passengers, operators, and drivers. And we provide all of them with the best experience using our buses. The operators have the opportunity to place attractive buses in their cities, to lift the quality of sustainable transport. We help them to get these kind of eye-catchers, to promote a modern urban lifestyle. For the passengers, we fulfill this promise by comfortable interiors, with friendly and welcoming atmosphere, with a lot of modern features on board to give people an excellent experience for their ride. And yes, it is a significant difference to use an electric bus with low noise level, elegant and smooth handling characteristics, 0 emissions, and the good feeling to be a part of green transport. And finally, the driver's experience is one of the key factors for the success of our products. As they spend the most time on board, drivers have an outstanding responsibility. That's why we provide innovative support systems to make their jobs safe and comfortable. At Solaris, we connect our competences in engineering and design in a complex process of interaction. One of the results of this workflow is this brand new Urbino 18 Hydrogen. We are proud on the step we reached and can ask, is this the perfect bus? We think it is better to say Urbino 18 will be just the way you want it to be. And this is the most convincing thing for me, that adaptability. The bus can be built in a lot of different configurations and variants. A wide range of available options enable a high-quality integration into corporate design systems of our clients. And this is not only possible in the moment of ordering a bus. Requirements and needs for public transport can change. Our flexible interior solutions are prepared for that and make it possible to adjust at any time in the future. This is why Solaris Urbino is a bus perfectly adapted for the needs of each and every city, yours included.
Buses do not need to simply be a basic means of transport. Solaris has new ideas for the ways in which urban transport functions and can be improved. It's a chance to take a technological step forward, a step we have taken.
What makes the Urbino 18 Hydrogen special? We pay special attention to the modular propulsion system. This made it possible to eliminate the vertical engine compartment, a feature of traditional diesel engines. What's more, one of the biggest electric traction components, the traction container, was divided into several elements placed efficiently for a greater space for the passengers. On one hand, releasing the space on the roof let us use higher capacity hydrogen cylinders, 51.2 kilograms. Yes, you heard correctly, 51 kilograms. And on the other hand, it let us come closer to the receptors, like the traction engine, for a more efficient design. It also allows the customer to maintain major traction components more efficiently as they are accessible from the floor. It's a win-win-win solution.
More than 22,000 Solaris vehicles are in operation all over Europe, a number which is rising all the time. Electric vehicles and those powered by hydrogen make up a significant portion of that number, changing the world for the better. Cities are becoming quieter and cleaner. For many years now, Solaris has been introducing innovative solutions and setting trends for the industry to follow. It is the creative leader in the market.
A small unit of hydrogen holds great potential for the future of transportation. Solaris Urbino 18 Hydrogen means the latest technologies and contemporary design. It has everything a modern city needs. It is 18 meters long and accommodates 138 passengers. There is no engine tower, allowing for up to 53 seats, with 20 available from the lower floor. 2 refueling connectors can be fitted in 3 different configurations, but hydrogen power is its greatest quality. The Solaris Urbino stores 51.2 kilograms of hydrogen in 8 tanks. Hydrogen is combined with oxygen, meaning that water is the only byproduct of the process. With distributed drive, the newest cells available, it can drive for around 350 kilometers on 1 refueling. Our way to shape city transport, available for you now. This is the new Urbino 18 Hydrogen.
Today, you have learned a lot about Urbino 18 Hydrogen. Now you understand what kind of a vehicle the Urbino is. We combine new technologies, design, and utility. You have seen how this bus has been created. You have met some of the people that have made it possible. But there are many others who have contributed to this creation. Thanks to all of them, this Urbino is the best it can possibly be. We can't wait to see the Urbino 18 Hydrogen in many different European cities and make its impact on citizens' lives. Thank you again for joining us. Have a nice day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how about you, but I'm very impressed about the feature of the new vehicle. And I hope, as it was already said in the video, that shortly we are going to see more of those vehicles on the streets in the real traffic. By the way, we are going to display this bus next week at InnoTrans Berlin, starting from 20 to 23rd of September. So we are more than welcome at our stand and in place so-called e-mobility garden next week at InnoTrans. And now is the moment when I would like to say thank you very much for the attention to our online viewers. I know that we had a few hundred of them during today's event. All of the materials were presented today will be shortly available on our social media channels. So those of you watching us online, thank you very much. That's it what we presented for you today, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.